Welcome to Rogers Center. The roof is closed as it is a rainy night in southern Ontario. Boston Red Sox in town for the first of the 3-game series. This will wrap up a short homestand. Bobby Valentine's ball club has won 14 of their last 20 ball games. They have made a move. They're over 500. This is a tight division, and the Red Sox are charging hard. Scott Podsednik, Daniel Nava, and Adrian Gonzalez, top 3 in the order. Ortiz, Saltalamacchia, and Will Middlebrook. She's been a real pleasant surprise. Ryan Sweeney, the right fielder, this season against the Blue Jays has been terrific. 3 for 7, a couple of doubles and RBI. He made a great play last night at Fenway Park to double up Delman Young, sliding at home plate after he caught a ball down the right field line. Mike Aviles and Nick Punto round out the lineup, and they're set to face Henderson Alvarez.
Henderson Alvarez 3-4 on the season. ERA a pretty good one at 3.56. It's been a while since Henderson has won a ball game, going back 3 starts without a win. He had won 3 straight just prior to that, and trying to get his game turned right back around, and also maybe strike out a few more hitters. He's down by about almost 3 strikeouts per 9 innings compared to last year.
Henderson Alvarez was pitching great down in Texas until the bottom of the 6th inning. He gave up 3 consecutive home runs with 2 outs. First pitch strike to Scott Podsednik. Podsednik has really bounced around. You can see he's played just 7 games with the Red Sox. He was acquired in a minor league deal from the Philadelphia Phillies. This was shot down the left field line in trouble. That's a foul ball. Just sliced foul right before it hit the left field wall. But Alan, the Red Sox have really had injuries in the outfield, and they had to go out and make a trade for Podsednik just to add some depth.
He's a guy, when healthy, that can certainly help a lot of ball clubs around the major leagues. Slashes, as you see right here, driving it down the opposite side. Runs extremely well, even at this stage of his career. The Blue Jays had a look at him last spring 1 year ago.
Major league career began with the Seattle Mariners. Another ball down into that corner. Rajay Davis shading over there, makes a running catch. He caught it in fair territory. It didn't hurt that the previous ball was hit down in that same area.
Rajay Davis gets a good jump on this ball, and well, you should, with left-hand hitters at the plate. This fastball from Alvarez runs away, and really the only recourse a lot of the times for the left-hand hitters hit it down the left field line, and Rajay Davis uses the wheels to get there.
First out. Daniel Nava, a switch hitter batting left-handed. First pitch strike. Nava's an interesting story. He did not even get a spring training invite with the Red Sox. He wasn't in camp with them. He spent time with them prior to this season, but this year he wasn't even invited to camp. One of those interesting stories of a guy that never got a chance to play an awful lot, even in college. He was cut from his college team and became the athletic manager.
That's a rather intriguing story, considering that Nava hit a grand slam in his first major league at bat a year ago.
Bouncing ball to third. 2 quick outs for Alvarez.
Now we've got our scouting report brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. When you look at Henderson Alvarez, you're talking about a guy who throws awfully hard. Depends on that fastball. Sinks it most of the time. The slider is kind of an afterthought. When he first came to the team last year, the changeup was the key second pitch.
2 quick outs for Alvarez. And now he'll deal with Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez at first base. He's played a little bit in the outfield this year, as the injuries have really forced Bobby Valentine into some creative lineups. Through 51 games, Gonzalez hitting .267. Ball and strike. Interesting lineup here with Gonzalez. Laurie is behind second. Here most times we see him out in right, but they've changed up the defense somewhat against Adrian Gonzalez. Ball is fouled off Aaron Sevia's mask.
Yeah, Brett Laurie's already proven himself as one of the game's fine right fielders this year, and now gets to work in center. I think he would do anything. He just has a great time playing the game.
It's interesting how they move him around, but Brian Butterfield and John Farrell both have suggested that the reason they can be so aggressive is because of his athleticism. 1-2 to Gonzalez. out of play.
I can't think of a rookie I ever played with, a young player, that had quite the enthusiasm and the infectiousness that I think Brett Lawrie brings to a ball club.
A rookie could never have that kind of attitude when you and I started.
I think it would have been awfully difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah, they really weren't allowed to say too much, but now everybody is on an equal plane. He has earned his stripes. The club saw him last year all throughout spring training, and then he was called up late in August. 2-2, 2 outs. Got it. Good slider, and Alvarez has a strikeout. Red Sox down in order. A 1-2-3 first. Good slider gets Adrian Gonzalez. In line, and their offense really clicked in a month of May. What a great job. Top three in the order: Johnson, Escobar, Bautista. Escobar against the Red Sox. Got 4 for 11 so far. Blue Jays won 2 of 3 the first time these two clubs met back in April. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Rasmussen. Brett Lawrie, JPR, and CB. David Cooper's done a nice job with the bat since coming up, and Rajay Davis continues to play in left field.
And it's Clay Buchholz on the hill for the Boston Red Sox. You look at some of the numbers, figure out how he's 4-2 on the season. That ERA over 7. The whip is just under the 2 mark, so 2 base runners per inning. Clay Buchholz has had to deal with a lot of base runners on the course of the season. The league hitting .328 against him. Again, turn back to 4-2. That's hard to figure.
He's always pitched well in this ballpark. He has a 5-2 record over 7 starts with a stellar 1.62 ERA here at Rogers Center. Only Matt Garza has a better ERA with a minimum of 40 innings pitched than Clay Buchholz in this ballpark for a visiting player. But Alan is right. He has been hit hard this year, and Blue Jays will try to continue that trend tonight. Kelly Johnson wants to look at that baseball, and Mark Mulchinski, the home plate umpire, obliged, and they threw it out of play. Kelly Johnson did not play in the Wednesday game, utilizing that off day on Thursday to give him 2 days off. Still dealing with that sore hamstring.
Anderson Alvarez, after a nice first inning, says it's not quite right yet. Let's go ahead and nip and tuck a little bit.
Upstairs, ball on the strike. Last 10 games kind of reflect the problems he's had with his hamstring. Doesn't have a real solid foundation underneath him. Some of those balls are tough to get to when you really don't have that confidence that your hamstring's going to hold up. It's fouled up.
See a lot of off-speed stuff from Clay Buchholz, a guy that a couple of years ago, I remember, not only did he have the change in the curveball, but very good fastball that he could run into the mid-90s.
He's kind of an interesting guy. You see his numbers over 12 games, 7-3 against the Jays. Opponents average of just .215, so he's been tough on the Blue Jays. Missed inside. Buchholz is one of those pitchers, and you've seen a lot of them, Alan, that really kind of goes with the flow of the game. If you can get to him early and put him in the stretch, chances are you can get to him early on.
Just saw that 94-mile-an-hour fastball, so it's still there.
He has really thrown a lot of cutters of late. Cutter and changeup seems to be his bread and butter right now, as he just feels like he gets a little more movement with that cut fastball, and the changeup is really kind of developed into a pretty good pitch for him.
Just before he put the ball in the glove right there, four-seamer he gripped, and a lot of guys like to set it up with what they normally like to throw.
This is popped up behind second. Mike Aviles, the shortstop, makes the catch.
I think we've got catcher's interference. Jared Saltalamacchia apparently the guilty party here, as Kelly Johnson otherwise would be out, but he's been awarded first base. Get that bat just clipping a piece of the glove, and there you see Jared Saltalamacchia looking up.
You can hear Mark Mulchinski, the home plate umpire, immediately called that's interference. What's the barrel of the bat? He catches that glove ever so slightly as he reached for that off-speed pitch, and that will award Kelly Johnson with first base.
You know, when I had that happen to me, it was usually on a fastball on the hands where a hitter was late, not on an off-speed pitch where they normally would be out in front a little bit.
But it is an error on the catcher, no at bat for Kelly Johnson. And he's at first base for Yunel Escobar. Oftentimes a catcher will just get anxious and reach out for it before the hitter swings, and you'll see it more often than you would think.
There was a guy that wore me out, Andy Van Slyke.
Bouncing ball. Aviles bobbles it, and all hands are safe. Mike Aviles may have gotten crossed up a little bit. It looked like Will Middlebrooks, the third baseman, was going to reach for it and then pulled his glove back. It may have been a little bit of a distraction for Aviles, but that's a play he's got to make. At least get one at second.
You would figure that's all they would get on this ball, not sharply hit. But it's just a clank job. Right straight into the glove and see it drop. Looked like it caught him toward the heel a little bit.
So 2 errors committed in the first 2 at-bats, and the Blue Jays are threatening. This is exactly what the Blue Jays wanted to do with Clay Buchholz. Get him into the stretch and put him in a tough spot here in the first.
We talked about how many base runners he tends to have, just under the 2 mark on any given inning, and that's not counting what the defense awards here in the inning.
Jose Bautista has gone 6 for 22 against Buchholz. There's a cutter just off the plate. Jose Bautista was named the Blue Jays Player of the Month for May.
Some very similar numbers to those of Edwin Encarnacion in the month. Buchholz thought that was a strike, waiting on that call. Not going to get it.
3-0 to Bautista. Jose was the Honda Player of the Month for the month of May at 22 RBIs, hit 257 and scored 20 runs. 3-0 pitch on the corner. Honda's the official car of the Blue Jays, and they will make a donation to the charity of Jose Bautista's choosing. Three and one, nobody out. Mark Mulchinski called that a strike. Bautista had already tossed his bat aside, and Now he's going to have to regroup. Brian Butterfield going through a series of signs down the third base coaching box.
You're the umpire. What do you think? Does that get the bottom of the knees or not? Jose certainly thinks it's low.
Salta Lamacchia didn't make it look very good for sure.
And that glove kept diving.
Full count. Well, one thing you can bet for sure, Bautista's going to be swinging now.
Had a good swing right there. And he certainly should be.
Kelly Johnson reached on catcher's interference. He's at second base. Yunel Escobar hit into a fielder's choice that was booted by the shortstop, Michael Vilas. Nobody out. Jose Bautista with a full count. Clay Buchholz in an early jam.
Yeah, that scouting report on Clay Buchholz. Doesn't throw the fastball maybe as much as he did when he first came to the big leagues. Remember, this guy had a no-hitter early in his career. Has that cutter, and Buck's talked about the fact that he's been throwing that a lot. The curveball is also a good one. The changeup is a very effective pitch, but it feels like, I think, to some folks with the Red Sox that he's starting to rely on the curveball and change.
Another 3-2 pitch from Buchholz. Bautista strikes out. And a couple of words for Mark Molchinski on his way back to the dugout. That's the first out of the inning.
Buchholz able to come back elevating just a bit from what Bautista had seen throughout the at-bat, and that's where you just kind of loop the bat under so often.
Well, Edwin Encarnacion has been a hot hitter. 17 homers and 42 driven in for Encarnacion. On the ground, Armilas at short, second for one, back to first, double play. Clay Buchholz with a strikeout and a double play gets out of a first inning jam. Started against them last September in a 1-0 win in 11 innings. He went up against Josh Beckett and he pitched 6 strong innings in that game. For a total, you see his numbers for 2 starts, 12 innings pitched. He's allowed just 8 hits over those 12 innings. He's really pitched well. That September start ended with Brett Fleury's walk-off home run in the 11th inning off Dan Wheeler, but Alvarez has pitched well twice against the Boston Red Sox. Back in April, he left with a 2-1 lead after 6 innings. Now you see David Ortiz at the plate. The Blue Jays go into their more familiar shift with Big Papi hitting.
Those were awfully good numbers for Henderson Alvarez when you consider in the 2 starts, no win, no loss picked up.
There you see Kelly Johnson almost straight away at second. Brett Laurie is out in right, and that's where we're usually finding him when there's a powerful left-handed hitter. The exception was the last at bat with Adrian Gonzalez.
And you see how Laurie enables Cooper to hug the line.
Always had big numbers. David Ortiz with 52 doubles and 42 home runs against the Jays, and has driven in 137 in 184 career games. He's loved hitting in this ballpark as well. He has 29 home runs in 94 career games here. It's the most home runs he's hit in any other ballpark outside of Fenway.
David Ortiz among the American League leaders in hits on the season. Well, that's good running action. Alvarez gets on the fastball, starts it inside, runs it back to the plate.
Full count.
Big Papi's 7th best in terms of hits in the league.
Late on that fastball. Yeah, that's not generally where you expect to see him. He's got 61 hits coming into this game. The American League leader in hits is Derek Jeter. Then the usual suspects: Josh Hamilton, Paul Konerko, Miguel Cabrera, Adam Jones, and Prince Fielder. He's fouled off his foot.
Hit a fastball at 95 miles an hour, add a little to it with your bat, and take it on the foot. Nice way to start a night.
Those always feel real good when they hit right off the top of your big toe.
I used to hit them right on the shins from each side of the plate, and my shins to this day, I can't take a child who wants to ride on the foot.
Taking him a while to regroup.
Not sure David's thinking about his future and how that's going to work out, but right now it doesn't feel very good.
Next pitch, inside fastball.
Put that inside fastball at the knees, and the hitter just flinching.
Came right back with it, and he fouled it off. Make light of these foul balls, but oftentimes we've seen players suffer a fracture, broken bone. Dustin Pedroia a couple of years ago in interleague play, playing against the Giants, broke a bone in his foot.
There's the pitch. Sinking fastball down and in. Ortiz hits it on the ground on the pull side, but somehow avoids that lead foot.
Tenth pitch of this at bat. Ortiz leading off the top of the second. Ball left field. Rajay Davis at the wall, at the track. Home run, Ortiz. His 30th home run here at Rogers Center, and the Red Sox have a 1-0 lead. His 13th home run of the season. It looked like Alvarez shook to get that pitch. JP Arencibia had called a couple pitches before, and Alvarez shook him off.
JP kept working it in. Alvarez eventually settled on wanting to drop that fastball away, and as he got it out over the plate, David Ortiz was well prepared. Very strong man to hit one that way.
10th pitch of the at-bat. That's the 12th home run Alvarez has given up this year. Remember, he gave up 3 in a row last time out down in Texas. Ball is lined to center. Colby Erasmus has it. Saltalamacchia is retired.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
David Ortiz still feeling the impact of that foul ball off his foot, but it's not quite as painful after hitting a home run. Will Middlebrooks, the third baseman, 23 years old in his first season in big leagues, and he's been impressive. .316 average, hit 6 home runs and driven in 21. Only his 5th season in professional baseball.
And Middlebrooks has been creating, not of his own deeds, but rumors about Kevin Youkilis possibly being traded by the Red Sox.
Put up big numbers at Pawtucket before he was called to the big club.
This is requiring some attention. Bad boy hurts.
Yeah, got it on that left, on their right toe, probably on the big toe. That's always the one that takes some brunt of those foul balls. Bouncing ball, that shift is going to work again. Kelly Johnson behind second. Middlebrooks is retired. He's hurt.
As someone who also did that quite a bit and required some drilling on the toes, on the nails, it's not much fun. And once you get that drill, whatever form it comes in, to go through and the blood comes out, oh, it's one of the greatest reliefs going.
Ryan Sweeney. Sweeney's been a pleasant surprise for the Red Sox, hitting .313. Red Sox have had so many injuries to their outfielders. Of course, they've lost Carl Crawford. He's yet to play this year. Jacoby Ellsbury started to play, and then he hurt his shoulder. He's not on the radar screen yet. Darnell McDonald, another outfielder, is down in the minor leagues rehabbing, and Ryan Sweeney has filled the void. When you look at the Red Sox disabled list, it's amazing how they've been able to put this run together, considering how many key players they've lost. Even Cody Ross they picked up. He was off to a good start. He's out with a broken foot.
Yeah, you would just say losing Jacoby Ellsbury and Carl Crawford, and nobody else on that list. Well, Bailey is a huge one as well. Guy that was figuring to be the closer for the Red Sox. Those are enormous.
Daisuke Matsuzaka is rehabbing right now, and he's throwing the ball pretty well. There's Cody Ross and Pedroia. They're both dinged up right now. There's a base hit on a hanging breaking ball. Sweeney delivers a 2-out base hit to right.
That's that same breaking ball, maybe just a skosh higher, but the same one he struck out Adrian Gonzalez back in the first inning with. Watch it hang up here, mid-thigh, and that's pretty nice hitting zone.
Well, especially with 2 strikes, where a hitter is defensive, he's already in a hole. He knows he's just got to cut down his swing and put it in play. And look at that high breaking ball up there. That's like putting it on a tee.
When you're looking for the strikeout, you like to start that thing around the knees and dive it toward the dirt.
Mike Aviles having a good season. First pitch strike.
Little tight slider. Cutter. Some guys, it depends on what guys like to call it, but what an effective pitch that is.
Check swing, fouled out of play. Aviles was picked up by the Red Sox in a trade for Yamaiko Navarro and Kendall Volst last July 30th. And they expected him to be a backup player, but now he has taken over the everyday duties at short.
What if the Red Sox wouldn't like to have Marco Scudero back?
There's a base hit down the right field line. Up foul. It's sliced into foul ground.
Now, Aviles is a fine player, but Marco Scudero is one of those guys that can fill in, and no way the Red Sox could have anticipated this many injuries on the season, but what an effective guy Marco's been through the years. This guy is the next big star coming.
He's having a good time, isn't he?
Here's the way I would throw it.
0-2, 2 outs. Kelly Johnson will go to first, and Aviles is retired, but the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead. Colby Rasmus has been the hottest Blue Jay hitter. He'll start things off. Then Brett Lawrie and J.P. Arancibia. .33. And on base on a regular clip, he has an OPS of 1.097, and he's driven in 7 runs. Rasmus got up on top of the plate and just kind of eliminated any guessing about where he should hit the ball. He's just attacking it, especially early in the at-bats.
It's made a big difference for Colby, too, stinging the ball down the right field side. Occasionally let the reaction take an outside pitch the other way.
Colby came through the minor league system with the Cardinals and was a pull hitter all the way. And now he's gotten back to that stroke, and it seems to be suiting him perfectly.
And you can see Colby standing in that third of the box closest to the plate. So he just moved in, and he's trying to get the barrel out.
7-game hit streak with some production. 3 homers and 6 RBIs. And he bunts it just foul.
With that semi-shift on for the Red Sox in the infield, it leaves only Middlebrooks on the left side, and he's playing at a infield in shortstop kind of a position, and generally that'll take the bunt away, but I think Colby thought if he just puts one down the line here, he could get a base hit.
And you see how close he is to home plate now. His toes are nearly on that inside line of the batter's box. Good changeup. What would that tell you as a catcher when you see a guy get in that close, standing that close to the plate?
Probably tells me he wants to pull, and therefore that changeup becomes a very effective pitch, and you can see Colby out in front on that one. When a guy's thinking pull, he's thinking getting the barrel out in front of the plate.
Had a good swing at that pitch. It was upstairs and fouled it straight back.
A lot of times I think catchers or pitchers in particular will think, well, I need to pitch him away because he's so close to the plate, but I think it's the ball out over the plate that guy is trying to set himself up for. It's the ball on the hands generally that he either can't handle or can't keep fair.
1-2. And hit him. Just brushed his uniform, and he'll take first base. Well, they had him in a hole, and Buckles tried to bust him inside, and that'll be another base runner for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, it looked like Saul Talamaki was thinking the same way we were talking. Let's go ahead and get this right on the hands, but that's coming a little too much. I don't know. Did this hit uniform? Yeah, it did.
Just brushed it.
Had a chance of inserting itself in the uniform.
That's the best way to get hit, isn't it?
No body whatsoever.
Well, it's Brett Lawrie's up now. That's a good chance to play hit and run with speed at first. Laurie goes after the first pitch. Brett Lawrie's become much more aggressive of late. Seems as though he's kind of cleared his mind, and early on he was worried about that breaking ball, but now it seems like he's anticipating just getting a good pitch to hit. Rasmus is 3 for 3 in the steal attempts this year.
Buchholz really slows it down with men on base.
Broken bat, little looper behind second. Punto gets there, and there's the throw to first, but Rasmus is back. One out here in the bottom of the second. Henderson Alvarez gave up a leadoff home run to David Ortiz in the top half of the inning, and it was a 10-pitch at bat. I'm sure that has frustrated him a bit. Get some support from his catcher, but Alvarez battled David Ortiz and then left one out over the plate, and Big Papi went opposite field.
You mentioned the 3 home runs Alvarez allowed in his most recent start against the Rangers. Home runs have been a little more prevalent lately against Henderson.
His last 4 batters he's faced, including that start in Texas, hitters have gone 5 for 11 with 4 home runs. J.P. Arancibia, 9 home runs this season. We got 2 of the better home run hitting catchers in baseball here tonight. Jared Saltalamacchia has 10 home runs. Arancibia has 9.
And if you're trying to keep that home run ball away from Saltalamacchia, he's a switch hitter. You want to keep him on the right side of the plate, but with right-hand pitching, he has the long ball part of the game.
Buchholz missed with the first pitch. He was 4 for his last 29, but 2 of those 4 hits have been home runs. Red Sox lead at 1-0.
Arancibia hit those 2 home runs in a game, and he's done it multiple times already in his career. Brian Butterfield just put the home run sign on there for Arancibia, but Arancibia did it on a Sunday game, after catching the first 2 games of the series in that Arlington series, and in each game catching over 200 pitches from his pitching staff. So pretty strong stuff.
Two balls, no strikes. Buchholz really slows the game down when he gets the guy at first.
Just thoroughly drags, and I don't think it helps the defense, and it certainly hasn't helped Buchholz this year.
And he minimizes the impact of the running game. They've only been 4 attempted steals against him. JP out in front. Been a rough start to Clay Buchholz's season. If you look where he ranks in the American League, he is last in ERA, over 7 runs a ball game. His whip is also last in the American League, and the opponent's batting average hit .325. Blue Jays had him on the ropes in the first inning. First and second, nobody out. Got a strikeout and a double play to get out of that inning.
Doesn't hurt to play for a ball club that scores a lot of runs to go 4-2 with those numbers.
Towards center field, Podsednik comes in and makes a chest high catch. Second out of the inning. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. things have kind of gone south for the Orioles, and it all starts with their starting pitching. They haven't got real good starting pitching, and when you don't do that, you're always digging out of deep holes early in the ball game. Two outs, David Cooper. Goes after the first pitch and lines it to center. Scott Podsednik is there. Blue Jays leave a base runner after 2 complete. Red Sox lead at 1-0. It begins Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 4 p.m. Pacific Time, and you'll get a chance to see the draft and find out just exactly what all the ball clubs are doing, who's going #1 and who the Blue Jays are going to take. And now we're pleased to be joined by our baseball insider, Shai Davidi. And Shai, you've tried to keep up with everything up to date and see what the Blue Jays have. But once again, they have a very deep draft. They're going to have 5 picks in the first 60 rounds. Do you have any insight as to who they're going to take?
Well, it's really interesting right now. There's obviously a lot of speculation with the new system and how things are going to play out. And they've been linked to a bunch of different guys. One really interesting name is Lucas Giolito, is a pitcher who might have been, you know, right in the 1-2-3 range until he had some elbow problems this spring. It's a guy who throws in the 90s. And he's a bit of a wild card because he might fall out of the top of 10 because people are concerned a bit about his elbow and whether it's going to hold up. And whether we're going to be able to sign him, because he's going to, the thought is he's going to have to be bought out of his commitment to UCLA.
But the Blue Jays have done this before. They had an injured player, Stilson.
Right, John Stilson, and he's with Single A Dunedin. Of course, it's a different world now in the draft, as there are limits on how much teams can spend, and if they exceed their pool limits, then they have to pay a penalty and possibly sacrifice a draft pick. So it's not just as simple as taking someone who has high salary demands and has slipped anymore, because now teams really have to budget how much they can spend on different guys.
Philosophically, the Blue Jays have taken a lot of pitchers, certainly in early rounds in recent seasons. Anything change, at least on the horizon, for what you can see?
Well, again, it depends on what falls to them and where they are. They're in the lower tiers. They've been picked 17th and 22nd, so at that point, they're a bit at the whim of what goes on above them in terms of who's available. But you're right, they have had an emphasis on pitchers, and there may or may not be some guys who are around at that point. One name that's floated around a bit is Lance McCullers, but he may or may not be there once they start picking. But they've also been on a trio of high school shortstop, Gavin Cicchini, Addison Russell, and Corey Seager.
Lance McCullers is obviously. Last time they took Dwight Smith Jr. Lance McCullers' father is Lance McCullers, who pitched in the big leagues as well.
Right, and there also been speculation that they're looking at DJ Davis, an outfielder who is a tremendous runner, and he may be a very intriguing guy because he really fits with what they were trying to do.
We mentioned the Blue Jays had 5 picks in the top 60, and here's exactly where they're suited: 17 and 22. Much difference between those 2 picks as far as the type of talent you might get?
There is, and the bigger picture is how they will judge who's going to be there and whether they're like two players, which one they think might be able to slide to their second pick. And that's all going to be part of the strategy. The other thought is, if they do go for a guy who's got very high salary demands, do they take or overdraft someone with the second pick in order to create space within the bonus pool for them to spend on the first guy?
Okay, now give us a short explanation of what you mean there.
Well, a short explanation. Is it easy to do a tax return? This is more complicated. Basically, each of the picks from the first 10 rounds has been assigned a value. Now, each team has a different pool based on the cumulative total of all those values. So the Blue Jays, for their 14 picks, have roughly $8.9 million to spend. Now, if they exceed that total, then they will be charged a penalty. Now, the penalty varies depending on how much over you go. So if you're in the 0 to 5 range, you pay a 75% tax on any of that overage. Now, that, to me, is where teams are probably going to go because they don't have to sacrifice a draft pick in that range. You just have to pay the tax. So if you've got the money, you might do it. Now, over and above that, you're paying a tax and sacrificing draft picks, and I don't think many teams are going to be interested in doing that.
So with those tax forms laid out neatly in front of us, how much time has been spent now, extra time by the brass in trying to determine how this all might play out?
Well, that really comes down to the area scouts. They have to be on that, talking to the players, talking to their families, getting a sense of, A, how much do they want to play pro ball if it's a high school player? Are they ready to commit? Is it about money or is it about the opportunity? So that's really the complicated part, and the area scouts have to have a good sense of what the player wants.
Daniel Nava delivers a 2-out double to the wall in right field. And Henderson Alvarez got the ball up to Nava, and he hit it hard. This Red Sox team, they can pound out some doubles. Coming into this game, they had a major league high 132 doubles. So let's talk a little bit more about this draft. And when you mention the Blue Jays, they've been so good the last couple of years in the drafted players, and it seems as though Andrew Tinish has done a great job. The position players, do you think when they sign these players now, will it be a quicker sign because of the slotting?
Well, it will be in part because of the slotting, but also because they moved the signing deadline up a month. Whereas last year it was mid-August, it's going to be in mid-July, depending on the year. This year, July 13th. And I think everybody's happy about that because, one, it eliminates some of the wasted time that used to take place because oftentimes teams didn't get around to signing the big guys until the last week or so, if not later. As well, players now will sign at an early enough point of the summer where they can perhaps get into some rookie ball and actually see some action before the season ends.
Rajay Davis comes up throwing. It's up the line and not in time. Nava scores on Gonzalez. Solid single to left. 2-0 Boston. We are talking with Shai Davidi and looking ahead to the Monday Major League Draft. And the Blue Jays, as we mentioned, have been so good over the last couple of years. Do you characterize this, or do the Blue Jays, in your estimation, characterize this as a strong draft or a weak draft?
It's a strong draft, but the way it's been characterized to me is that it's not as top-heavy as it was last year. And as the overall talent level is probably fairly similar, but the elite, there are fewer elite players early on, and really that's what defines any draft year. It's how many elite guys are available. So whereas last year there were maybe 8 to 10 guys in the first round who teams really felt were at that top level, this year maybe 4 or 5, and there's a bit of a drop-off from there.
What about the Canadian aspect of the draft?
Well, there's one really intriguing name is Ryan Kellogg. He's a 6'5" lefty, and he's projected to go anywhere in the 3 to 5 range, depending on who you talk to. And he's an interesting case. He's got a commitment to Arizona State. He's a high school guy. And if he ends up a bit lower in the draft, he may not get enough incentive in terms of signing bonus to bail on that commitment. So he's going to be a guy who's going to be interesting to keep an eye on.
Shai Davidi, thank you so much for your update, and we'll all keep an eye on that Monday draft, see how the Blue Jays fare. But thanks a lot for your time. Great chat. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone is the PAC Urban Peace Program, helping at-risk youth reach their full potential. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. Boston has a 2-0 lead as Blue Jays are set to bat in the bottom of the third inning. Rajai Davis will lead things off. Big bats for the Red Sox have delivered Ortiz with his 36th RBI on his 13th home run, and Adrian Gonzalez, an RBI single, gives him 28 RBIs for the season. Rajai Davis is 0 for 6 in his at-bats against Clay Buchholz. Been a hot hitter of late, getting a chance to play on a little more regular basis. Last time Jason Hamill threw one up and in on Rajai Davis, he hit a home run on the next pitch. Last Wednesday, got knocked down and then went deep. This is a breaking ball that got away from Buchholz.
Of course, that one you referenced, Rajai was thinking bunny. It actually turned in toward the plate and got some literal chin music.
Rajai makes things happen when he gets on base. He creates havoc either with the steal or his speed, the ability to go first and third. This is popped up. Nick Punto, the second baseman, backing up into the outfield, makes the catch. One out here in the bottom of the third. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Curtis Granderson back in his old stomping grounds, doing damage against his former team. Back to the top of the order for the Jays, and Kelly Johnson. One hopper to Adrian Gonzalez. Buchholz is there. 2 down.
Save during the Beauty Tone paint sale, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Good crowd here on a Friday night, first of 3 against the Boston Red Sox. Always a crowded spot here at Rogers Center. The Jays shop and all the memorabilia. Yunel Escobar steps in with 2 outs. Yunel hit into a fielder's choice his first time up.
Interesting watching right there. Even without a man on second base, Red Sox are going through the full series of signs. I don't know if the old story prevails that somebody's out there in a white shirt in center field.
Well, I just think it's silly not to give a sequence of signs with so much videotape now.
Very true.
Everybody sees everything, so it'd take you about 5 minutes to go through the signs.
Of course, the more you show the signs, the more you give somebody a chance to learn your full series.
There's a high drive to left field. Now we're back at the track. Home run, Yunel Escobar. His 3rd home run of the season. Escobar delivers with 2 outs. Cuts that Red Sox lead into half.
Now you could almost see the relief as Yunel touched home plate. It's been a while for him to open up with that home run game. Those eyes know it's gone.
Jose Bautista batting with 2 outs. Bautista struck out in the first inning. Take another look at the swing by Escobar.
Great extension through the baseball, a towering drive. And that was out enough that you would figure leaving home plate, you know it. How about that for a swing?
Number 3 for Escobar. It's a 2-1 ball game.
Sometimes one guy, one teammate hitting a home run opens up the big swings for others, and here's a big swing. Wow, that's everything you got.
Ball and a strike to Bautista. Cutter run on the outside corner.
I don't think Jose's happy. That one that was a low strike his first at bat led to him striking out, and now this that he feels is off the outside edge, and he just continues barking.
He's trying to do it without drawing too much attention to it, but he's still letting Mark Mulchinski know how he felt about that last pitch.
It's kind of like a one-way conversation in my mind.
1-2.
Even on that pitch on the outside edge, good strong swing by Jose, and he gave in, maybe trying to drive the ball to right field.
Now Jose has gotten closer to the plate too, and we talk about it. And take a look at this pitch. That's the one that Bautista thought was off the plate.
That's the one that every pitcher around the major leagues wants to throw, though.
Came right back with it, and Bautista's not going to take anything close. Upstairs.
See how that front side comes flying open as he takes the pitch. Not able to hold the shoulder in, and that was a fastball. Usually you see that kind of flying open on some kind of breaking pitch, but that's been, in my estimation, a big part of what's gone wrong for Jose. See that front side wide open. If the pitch is up and in, he can't turn his face back away from the pitch.
Another pitch upstairs. Full count to Bautista. Colts has given up a home run here in this inning to Yunel Escobar. Edwin Encarnacion waits on deck. Was after that high fastball and strikes out. Mulchinski just made note that Bautista threw the bat. He's going to write up a report, and Bautista will probably be fined for that, but he's still in the ball game. Here's the last pitch. Buckholz throws the high fastball. Bautista throws the bat down, and Mulchinski said that's going to cost you. Is kind of wandering out to center field, and Jose Bautista there. Then they get into a little conversation. It looks as though Mike Winters is kind of coming over and says, "Hey, Jose, let's see if we can't calm things down." And Mike Winters, very level-headed umpire, and He's listening to Bautista, and Jose has not been pleased with the strike zone tonight. But at least there's a line of communication open, and it's not one-sided, it appears.
You know, there's been talk about umpires engaging for the other reasons to create arguments. That was nice. I know how you feel, but I'm not sure yet that I'm buying in. I'll try to settle it down.
You see Bautista kind of said, okay, I appreciate the conversation. So good for you, Mike. Jared Saltalamacchia aligned to center his first time up. Takes his swing. 2 balls and a strike.
There's that changeup that's not used all that much this year by Henderson Alvarez, a pitch that a year ago appeared to be a key part of his arsenal.
Fouled back. It's 2-2. Henderson Alvarez, take a look at his last 4 innings pitched. The hitter's got 7 for 16, including 4 home runs and 5 runs. Of course, those 4 home runs came 3 consecutive home runs with 2 outs in the 6th inning his last start against the Rangers. Sharply hit, but there's Kelly Johnson at second. Saltalamacchia is retired. That's the first out, top of the 4th. But the interesting thing, I think, is the way that this rotation is stacked up. It'll be Alvarez, Drabek, and Hutchison against the Red Sox in this series. And they've done a nice job. Drew Hutchison, his last time out, with his best start.
And Hutchison was throwing harder than I've ever seen him. Now, I heard that he said he had velocities mid-90s a year ago in the minor leagues, but he was hitting 94, 95, and 96 in that ball game.
Yeah, he had talked to us about hitting his stride. And this is a young man, just 21 years old, that knows himself very well. He said, I'm going to really hit my stride, and his command was great. His four-seam fastball was great. Did a good job his last time out.
When Brandon Morrow's on his game, he drives the fastball down around the knees very well. I thought Hutchison did the same. I thought he was pretty consistently down there.
Well, Middlebrooks breaking ball off the end of the bat. Laurie comes in and fires quickly to first. 2 quick outs here in the 4th. I think one thing that Henderson Alvarez has been able to do is to separate at bats. Even when he gives up home runs, he doesn't let it affect him. He just comes right back and continues to pound the strike zone.
When you pound it down around the knees like that at 94, generally speaking, you're going to be quite effective.
Ryan Sweeney with a single to right. His last time up. That ball had some late life on it. Skipped right off home plate.
It's the sinking action. It just darts downward. One of those rare guys that can throw over the top and get that very good sinker.
That Laurie cuts in front of the shortstop. 3 ground ball outs in the 4th. Red Sox go down in order. They have a 2-1 lead.
fortunate to get out and see ball games at the Olympics coming up. What is your schedule like between now and the time you head to London?
I'm actually on like a 5-day break right now, and I'm doing an appearance here in Toronto, and I was fortunate enough to get tickets to this game. It's my first home game watching the Blue Jays, so it's pretty exciting.
Well, that's great. Now, looking forward to the Olympics, tell us about the team, how you guys are figuring it, and really who's the main competition you have to really watch out for this year?
Well, I think our team right now, we're in a good place. We just beat China a couple days ago, so we've got some momentum going with us. Our biggest competition, I think, is right off the bat. We play Japan, the defending World Cup champions, so we have to be sharp right from the start.
And you said you're here down for the first time this year. I understand there is a former Blue Jay who is near and dear to your heart. Tell us.
Yeah, grew up playing baseball, played second base, huge Roberto Alomar fan. He's the reason I wear number 12 in soccer.
Well, there you go, and I'm sure he's probably watching this. Let's send it back now to Buck and Allen.
That's a great story. Robbie Alomar continues to have influence even on the soccer players. Good job, Barry, and good luck to Christine and the Canadian women's soccer team when they go to London for the Olympics. And number 12, we'll all know what that means now when we see Christine during the Olympics. Edwin Encarnacion starts things out. Bottom of the fourth, 2-1 ball game. Pulled way outside. 2-1. Mentioned Encarnacion has not had a hit against Clay Buchholz. He's now 0 for 8. Pops this one up into shallow left. Second baseman Nick Punto calls for it. 1 out. Edwin Encarnacion's off to a great start. After 51 games, we've compared Bautista's year of 2010 to Encarnacion this season, and it's a remarkable season Encarnacion has put together.
He's doing a lot of things very, very well, and you see one of the league leaders, second best in home runs and RBIs. You add the numbers up, the OPS extremely good, and like you say, awfully close to what Jose Bautista did.
Really quite a turnaround, and he has worked hard to put up those good numbers. Colby Rasmus was hit by a pitch back in the second inning.
Think we're going to be seeing Edwin as a first baseman anytime soon?
Oh, I think he'll get some time at first base, but I think they like the way he produces as the DH.
Yeah, and I don't say that in a sense that we're not seeing him at first base. We are occasionally right now. I just wondered, with Vladimir Guerrero pounding away at the minor league level, are we likely to see Edwin play any more first base if Vlad shows up?
Yeah, it's interesting. Guerrero is headed to AAA Las Vegas as Blue Jays continue to monitor him as he is making his way toward the big leagues, but really hasn't been any time frame set on that yet. Colby Rasmus continues to swing a hot bat. That'll stretch his hit streak to 8 straight. Speaking of Vlad Guerrero, let's take a look at the Blue Jays farm report now. And Guerrero has had some start in the minor leagues. 4 games at Dunedin in the Florida State League. He's got 9 for 20. 4 home runs. He's driven in 8. And by all reports, he's in great shape. He's running the bases. He's had some steals. And he wants to play in the outfield.
And you know what everybody says about that Florida State League? Tough league in which to hit home runs. Not for Vladimir Guerrero.
Now, they're all big ballparks, and Guerrero had a big day the other day in Lakeland, and that's a big ballpark.
Yes.
He went 3 for 5 and hit a pair of home runs there.
That might be the toughest that's not on the East Coast anyway.
Brett Lawrie popped out his first time up. Buchholz throws a lot to first base. He did this with Rasmus back in the second. Oftentimes you'll see pitchers do this a lot when they're not really set on what they want to do to the batter.
Yeah, it's an indecision throw. For me, it's not the throw to first base that holds runners from stealing as much as the slide step. And watch how quick he is to the plate. That's where it becomes awfully difficult.
Bouncing ball. Punto goes to second to get the lead runner, and that's all they'll get. Rasmus is retired. Punto made a pretty good decision. He was going away from second, but the ball was hit such that he had plenty of time to turn and fire to second to retire Rasmus.
Can't hurt watching Dustin Pedroia, and they have to miss him, but that's a Pedroia-like play. A good decision.
So Laurie's at first for J. Pierre and Sebia. He's going to throw over there whenever he's got a base runner on, even if there's not the threat to steal. Brett Laurie is 7 for 10 in steal attempts.
Well, he keeps spotting fastballs like that right on the outside edge. Got a pretty good chance of keeping base runners off.
Saltalamacchi has only caught 14% of the base stealers. Towards center field, Podsednik comes in a couple of steps and makes the catch. The Blue Jays leave another base runner. We've played 4 complete. Boston leads 2-1. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. It's Yunel Escobar bobblehead day. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Yunel Escobar bobblehead. Yunel's bobblehead is the second of 3 in a bobblehead set this season. The others include Brandon Morrow and Ricky Romero. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. The series finale on Sunday. 8-9-1 for the Red Sox. Michael Belis will lead things off. Oh, there's that good sinking fastball at the knees on the outside corner. 4 straight ground ball outs recorded by Alvarez. That hit Alvarez on the foot, and it's going to go for another base hit. This is reminiscent of what happened to Brandon Morrow. Morrow got hit in a similar situation, and John Farrell must be thinking about, well, why us?
The way Morrow got hit by that line drive, I think a lot of us were thinking about the possibility of a broken bone, and let's hope that's not the case here with Henderson Alvarez. In fact, John Farrell has to be hoping on top of all of that Henderson can stay on and get deeper into this ball game.
Not really sure where it hit him, but obviously he's in a lot of pain. He came down and landed. It's on the right foot. He actually may have hit the left foot as he got twisted around once he landed.
Looked more like he was kicking at the baseball rather than trying to get out of the way. And it looks like they may be looking at the shin or the calf.
Right there on the left leg. And this is all too reminiscent of what happened to Brandon Morrow. Morrow on Wednesday was hit on a comebacker off the bat of Wilson Bettamy. Both hit in similar fashion. Morrow's was a line drive and hit him just above the right ankle. X-rays had proved to be negative, and at this point Morrow was thinking about Jeff Neiman. He said all I could think about was Jeff Neiman. And that situation, Neiman suffered a fracture. George Poulos is now checking out Alvarez as he tries to walk it off. When they throw so many balls down in the zone, that ball that comes right back at the mound, not much time to react.
Then you put yourself on that hill, and you know how difficult it is on ground balls coming back. A lot of the time all you can do is either try to kick at the baseball or just get yourself out of the way. Henderson looked to me like he tried to kick at it maybe a little bit, maybe knock it down and make a play.
Well, he's going to throw a few pitches here and see if he can continue.
Well, that didn't look great, but better than the alternative.
Now, the one thing you have to make sure of is he said he's okay now. You just have to make sure he's not going to alter his delivery, and that's what John Farrell's going to check on again.
That landing leg can be such a key.
They don't want him to alter his delivery and have something happen to his shoulder or elbow. And John Farrell, of course, with his background as a pitching coach, understands the significance of a pitcher's lower half. It's everything, but they must be satisfied that he's okay to continue. Remarkably similar to what happened to Morrow on Wednesday. Morrow was hit with a line drive and looked like that ball that hit Alvarez just skipped off the turf. Novelis is credited with a base hit. He's at first. There goes Novelis. Kelly Johnson in time at second, back to first. What a double play. Nick Punto on the hit and run, hit it right to Kelly Johnson, who made a quick decision, shoveled to second for the force out. And once it was in Escobar's glove, he's got that strong arm to make the return throw to first.
No indecision whatsoever right here. And it's a risk worth taking, because even if the runner beats it at second base, you still get the out back at first base. And Kelly had that all sized up before it even was out of his hand.
Well, what good teamwork. Escobar was there anticipating the toss, and once he got it, he fired a strike to first. Kelly Johnson's done a terrific job teaming up with Escobar, turning double plays. Scott Podsednik. Kelly Johnson is there in time, and what a turnaround ending. Henderson Alvarez stayed in the ball game after being hit by the comebacker, and he's just 6 pitches to close out the Red Sox. Henderson Alvarez was hit by Mike Aviles on a comeback, or he stayed in the ball game and had a very good finish to the inning, double play and a ground out, and he went right down the tunnel into the trainer's room. John Farrell is going to go right down behind him to check on his pitcher to make sure he's okay to continue. The last thing Alvarez wants to do is come out of this game. He left the last start prematurely when he was ejected with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th against the Rangers. David Cooper will start things off here in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch strike. Guys down in the pen start to stir, as you never know when they might be needed. Just stand up, move around, loosen up. They've got a new arm down there. Robert Coelho has just joined the team. David Cooper drives this to left. Daniel Nava on the warning track. Can't make the play. Up against the wall. Cooper is headed for second. And he gets there with the leadoff double. His second double of the season.
And both of those doubles have come to left field, this time to left center. He's got good power going out that way, and his power is certainly better than it was a year ago. Great effort in left field by Nava, but he was feeling that wall coming up on him. Look at the extension on a pitch on the outside edge.
David Cooper has always been a good hitter. And last year, as we've mentioned before, he won the batting title in the Pacific Coast League. He was off to a good start, hitting just under 300 this year. Dan Cooper has made an impression. His second double of the season. And he's one of those guys, Alan, that you always are intrigued by because he can put the bat on the ball, but the power has been a concern.
Save during the Beauty Tone Paint Sale, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
There's been a delay here as there's been a so-called fan run onto the field, and that's the cause for the delay. He's been removed and escorted out by the police officers in attendance. So David Cooper with the leadoff double. John Farrell is back in the dugout after checking on Henderson Alvarez.
Does that look like a manager who just got some good news from his pitcher? I don't know. I think the news is likely that Alvarez is capable of continuing, but I'm sure there has to be concern.
Well, you would think if he could stay in to finish that inning that today is not the concern. Tomorrow, when the swelling really crops up, that's when it's a problem. Rajay Davis with Cooper at second. Middlebrooks, the third baseman, in expecting a bunt. Davis had a 3-hit game here on Tuesday, including a bunt single. It happened in the third inning. Ball in the dirt.
Clay Buchholz has not this evening looked like a pitcher who over the course of the season is yielding a .328 batting average against.
He got out of a sticky situation in the first. A couple of errors put 2 runners on, and then he got a strikeout and double play to get out of it. But he's on the ropes again here. Davis went after a borderline pitch away. It's 2-1.
Yeah, you wonder how much this guy David Cooper has to do with the bat and otherwise to continue to be the first baseman for the Blue Jays.
3-1. You know, managers are kind of funny that way. If you get hits, you keep playing.
Tend to like to write that name into the lineup. Adam Lynn getting waived today by the ball club.
Then was taken off the 40-man roster to make room for Robert Coelho, who was added. to the Blue Jays roster and called up from AAA. 3-1 to Davis. He'll take a walk. First two reach here in the fifth.
You plot and plan and try to figure out what's going to happen with a ball club in an upcoming season, and there's no way you could foresee that Adam Lind would have happened to him what has happened to this point. Kelly Johnson's been awfully good.
Kelly Johnson, you saw that he reached on catcher's interference. That came in the first. He's also grounded out to first. Speed pitch, he was out in front. Yunel Escobar hit a home run in the third inning. That's the 28th home run the Jays have hit since May 16th. That's the most in the majors. The bats have really come alive in the month of May. Escobar's third home run of the season. Johnson showing bunt, pulled the bat back.
Blue Jays are third in the league in runs scored and fourth with the long ball. So they're not far behind the big teams offensively.
One thing they don't do a lot of is utilizing the sacrifice bunt. Only had 4 sacrifices this season. Brian Butterfield indicating no outs, reminding the players that got a freeze on a line drive. Off-speed pitch, and Johnson strikes out.
It's been the one area that Kelly Johnson's had a tough time with this year, strikeouts. The changeup leaves him waving out in front.
That's 59 strikeouts now for Kelly Johnson, an area he's certainly concerned about. Said something that he just tries to overcome. He said there are some guys that should strike you out, but he's not pleased with the rate he has gone down. So Yunel Escobar trying to pick up Johnson right here. Escobar has been on base twice, fielder's choice in the first and a home run in the third. Ground ball short, second for 1. Back to first, double play, and again Clay Buchholz gets out of a tough jam with a strikeout and a double play. We are through 5. Alvarez appears to be okay. He'll come back for the top of the 6th. 7. Kids special price tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats after each Saturday home game. Kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com. Stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Junior Jays Saturday coming up tomorrow. Henderson Alvarez appears to be okay, but he has complained about a hole that has been created in front of the pitching rubber. And the grounds crew is going to come out and refill that hole with clay. Boston starter Clay Buchholz has created a big hole in front of that pitching rubber, and pitchers are different in what they like to do and how they like to create that hole in front of the rubber, and now they're going to have to repair that clay to Alvarez's liking.
It's awfully difficult at this stage of things. Once you have a hole, to put some clay in and expect it to hold on, generally speaking, that's just going to be very temporary.
Generally, it just kicked right out again as they're trying to bring it up to level into that pitching rubber.
Save during the Beauty Tone Paint Sale, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Alvarez now appears to be satisfied with that rubber being built up. This is Clay Buchholz, his mound opponent, and this is how this hole was created. Buchholz comes out and just kind of cleans out that clay in front of the rubber so he can push off. Everybody's a little bit different. We've seen all kinds of different styles over the years, but Buchholz is really not that unusual for the way he digs that clay out in front of the rubber.
It's understandable that a pitcher wants to be able to get a little toe hold on the front edge of that rubber, but it doesn't make sense to dig a deep hole, and some guys through the years have done that. Everybody wants the mound to be raised if they're a pitcher, and the hitters want that mound lowered, so why dig down an inch or two and in effect lower the mound?
So Alvarez seems to be satisfied with the mound. Daniel Nava will lead things off for the Red Sox here in the top of the 6th. Nava doubled and scored back in the 3rd. That's the difference in this ball game. Boston leads 2-1. Nava was called up to the Red Sox on May 10th. And he started each game in left field. He's a switch hitter. And he's been hitting in the leadoff spot. He's a versatile guy. Certainly the ability to hit from both sides of the plate, a real benefit. Nava has another base hit. Bounce in front of Bautista. At almost 40 years old, Derek Jeter and Martin Brodeur have found the fountain of youth in putting up some baseball and hockey's most dominant performances this spring. Read these stories and more in this week's issue of Sportsnet's magazine on the newsstands now. They just keep going and going and going. Derek Jeter and Martin Brodeur.
A year ago, it looked like Derek Jeter was maybe toward the tail end of his career. Right now, he's playing extremely well.
Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez is 1 for 2 so far.
This guy looked about this time last year like he was going to head toward an MVP in the American League.
He drives this ball the other way, and I'll get past Davis and go all the way to the wall. Rajay Davis fires it back in, and Gonzalez has a double. Oh, he's good out over that plate, and he went with the pitch and drove it to left field. One hopped the wall.
Can't fault Henderson Alvarez for the pitches here in the inning. A tough pitch down below the knees hit by Nava. Now this one out over the plate, driven the other way. But I think that's the strength of Adrian Gonzalez. Pitches away. I would think you would want to keep as many fastballs on the hands as can be.
19th double of the season for Adrian Gonzalez. He has tied Robinson Cano for the lead in the American League. David Ortiz. Blue Jays have to play the defense a little more straight up with runners at second and third.
The bullpen for the Blue Jays has Luis Perez now loosening.
Top of the 6th inning. Austin now with 7 hits. Be interesting to see how they pitch Ortiz in this situation. Home run he hit came on a 10-pitch at bat, and it was away and went the opposite field and hit it out to left.
Make no mistake, Ortiz can still turn it around if you come in, but if you come in hard as Henderson Alvarez is capable of, you might be able to get him to fist something to the infield.
Ball and strike. There you see David Ortiz in his hot zone. He likes to extend those arms, and if you do crowd him, you can have success.
See those numbers up, the blue numbers. Hard to get him to swing, though, in that area.
He's pretty much geared downstairs. Tried to swing over the top of it, and that was one of those gray areas on his hot zone. Down and in.
Sometimes hitters try to call time and just simply don't get it. Yeah, a little late right there.
But he never gave up the batter's box then.
Right. Hitter doesn't call time. He asks for time.
2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Second and third for the Red Sox. Foul ball.
David Ortiz, after slamming one off the toe on his lead foot in that first at bat, gets one out over the plate, and that's what he's looking for. Stay away from that foot that hurt him so much and just drive it the other way. He, like Adrian Gonzalez, great power going the other way.
Another 2-2 pitch. They did a heck of a job to lay off that high pitch. Daniel Nava single to start the inning. Adrian Gonzalez is at second. He hit the double to left. Red Sox lead it 2-1.
What is it that leaves Ortiz wanting to ask for timeout as Henderson Alvarez comes set?
Just felt a little bit rushed, and this time he was granted time. But now Alvarez is set. He's off that breaking ball down and in. The bases are loaded. Nobody out. Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher.
Alvarez is kind of on his typical game this year in the sense that he's not striking out many, just Gonzalez in the first inning, but 10 ground ball outs coming into this frame. How he would love a ground ball right here.
Saltalamacchia has 2 grand slams in his career. There's a ground ball. Cooper goes to second for 1, and Alvarez can't get back to first. Alvarez cost himself a double play. Nava comes in to score, and all the Blue Jays can get is a single run, and you just have to wonder if that leg created problems for Alvarez, but he didn't break off the mound at all.
Well, it sure looked like complete lack of any thought of going in that direction. He gets the ground ball he's looking for despite leaving the pitch up, but he just became a spectator on the hill.
Yeah.
He can run.
He cost himself a double play right there.
That hurts. Now you've got to get a double play to get out of the inning and make things even.
Will Middlebrooks with 1 out. Middlebrooks has grounded out twice. Ryan Sweeney is on deck. He's a left-handed hitter. Perez should be ready by now. Should Farrell want to make a pitching change. There's a strike. Alvarez needs to understand Kelly Johnson is on the shortstop side of second. Should he get a comeback? Inside, Aaron Sevilla bobbled it, but Saltalamacchia stays put at first. First and third.
Yeah, if you're Henderson Alvarez and you get that comeback or throw the ball chest high right over the middle of the bag, let your infielder adjust.
Ground ball. Escobar to Johnson for 1. Back to second. Double play. Good job. Kelly Johnson got back to the bag, even though he was on the shortstop side of second base. They turn another double play. Jose Bautista will start things up. Edwin Encarnacion, Colby Erasmus. Meat of the order. Blue Jays down 3-1. Against Clay Buchholz, and this was the last strikeout. He threw the bat down, and you can see the umpire, Mark Molchinski, indicating that he had noted Bautista had thrown the equipment down, and that is a punishment, a definable punishment for that. Traditionally, it'd be like $100 fine, something like that, but he's still in ball game, and after that, Bautista had a lengthy conversation with second base umpire Mike Winters out in center field, and it appeared to be a calming kind of conversation.
Yeah, Jose's been upset with a couple of calls on him, strikes that he felt were out of the strike zone tonight. But this has been going on much of this season and much of the second half of last season for Jose.
Blue Jays are down by 2. The Jays have had a couple different opportunities against Clay Buchholz. In the first and in the fifth, they had 2 on and nobody out. But Buchholz has responded in the same fashion, a strikeout and a double play. Haven't seen a lot of curveballs from Buchholz, but he gets that one over. Ball on the strike.
Been pretty effective with the changeup tonight. That fastball has nice sinking action this evening.
Buchholz has always pitched well here at Rogers Center. He's won his last 5 decisions. Made 7 starts overall. Got a 5-2 record here at this ballpark.
Pretty steady diet of away here this evening, and when it's up with that fastball, Jose just a little under time after time.
It's such an inviting pitch because you see it so well, but it's just about 6 inches too high. And there's a breaking ball, and Bautista takes a called 3rd strike. The Red Sox get a run when Alvarez forgot to cover first. This is a possible double play ball. They're going to get a run anyway on the ground ball with the bases loaded. But then after the inning, you can see Alvarez pointing to his head. Hey, I just wasn't thinking. Became a spectator in that situation. It led to a run, but it also opened up the possibility for a bigger inning. They would eventually turn a double play and keep the Red Sox to just 1 run.
You know, and it's one of those mistakes that's really not acceptable. As a manager, you want to keep your guys glad to play, but you got to remind them cannot have that type of play on the team.
Well, especially when you're a ground ball pitcher.
Yep. Trying to get out of the frame.
Yep. Every out you record going to be on the ground, and you have to remind yourself, hey, get over to first. And you used to do that as a catcher.
Constantly.
Every situation like that, left-handed batter, hey, don't forget to get to first.
So much so that in spring training, I'll bet you remember working on it, telling guys to get over, yelling out.
And that was just part of the routine. You get a left-handed batter, you hit a ball on the ground, and first thing you holler is get over there.
So much so that I think teammates got sick and tired of our voices.
Pop back out of play on that high fastball. Buchholz is maintaining his velocity. That last pitch was 94.
You know, when he gets the fastball down, it's sinking nicely. When he's brought it up, the 4-seamer is riding, and Bautista's had a tough time, and you could see Encarnacion just struggling to get to that one.
A breaking ball catches the inside corner. It was meant to be away, but the ball caught the inside corner, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Buchholz.
I don't think Edwin was a big fan of that call. I think from over the top you can see that it got plenty of the plate.
That's a hard one for a hitter. That breaking ball that comes inside, and that felt like they wanted it away. Buckles just missed inside, but caught the inside corner. 5 strikeouts now for the Red Sox right-hander. The Boston bullpen, and now we're getting into their territory. They've been great during the month of May. They had a 2.37 ERA for the month of May. And everything has come together for that bullpen. Oh, 2.
And yet they were miserable back in the first month of the season. 9th overall in terms of bullpens in the American League.
Rasmus behind 0-2.
Would you have ever guessed coming out of spring training that the Orioles would have statistically the best bullpen in the American League at this stage of things?
Nope.
Third of the season in.
Yep. Jim Johnson has been great as their closer. Pedro Strop. They even have Matt Lindstrom on the DL, and they're still pitching well. All right, 3 call. Colby Rasmus caught looking at an inside fastball. Clay Buchholz strikes out the side. All 3 looking. His fastball catches the inside corner. That's 6 strikeouts for Buchholz. Watch the action live all season from your smartphone. Download the Rogers Live app from your app store. Big crowd on hand here tonight at Rogers Center. Henderson Alvarez up to start the top of the 7th. Boston leads 3-1. Bottom 3rd of the Red Sox order. Sweeney, Aviles, and Nick Punto. A strike. Brian Sweeney began his career with the Chicago White Sox. He came up to the big club in 2006. Spent parts of 2 seasons with Chicago. Hits this ball, and it's going to get past Colby Rasmus and go all the way to the wall and bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Man at second base, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Johan Santana has been throwing the ball well all season long. The Mets, with all those great pitchers, have never thrown a no-hitter.
The American League East, all winning teams. The National League East, all winning teams.
Mike Avila shows bunt, takes a strike.
Yeah, how's that possible with all the great pitchers the Mets have had through the years?
Doc Gooden,
yeah.
Tom Seaver,
Nolan Ryan was there.
Jerry Kuzman. Yeah, a lot of great pitchers, and they've never thrown a no-hitter. Avila's fouls it back. It's 0-2. Johan Santana, boy, it's good to see him back and healthy again. He had so many problems over the years with injuries. And he is healthy again, and he's leading a very surprising Mets team. They're 28 and 23, just a game and a half out of first place. Got it. Good breaking ball. Avila strikes out. Just the second strikeout of the game for Alvarez, and that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a good place to come up with that second strikeout. Pitch nowhere close, but that slider induces the swing, and you get that first out without the runner moving to third.
Well, John Farrell has already made the call to the bullpen. Henderson Alvarez will turn things over to the pen as he leaves. He's trailing 3-1 with a man at second base. Alvarez's night is over. Pitching change when we come back. Angels tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Colby Lewis goes to the mound against Jerome Williams. Williams and the Angels is 5-2. Lewis is 4-3, and the Angels are charging hard. They've won 8 of the last 10. They are 5.5 behind the Texas Rangers. Looking forward to a big 3-game weekend series in Anaheim.
I guess it does make a difference if Albert Pujols gets the bat going, huh?
Starting to swing the bat pretty well. Luis Perez makes his 23rd appearance of the season. He will come in to face the switch-hitting Nick Punta. Perez has been good all year long. 2.45 ERA. Right now he's got a man at second base trying to keep it a 2-run game. Perez has done a good job stranding inherited base runners. Just 3 of 16, 3 of 19 have scored. That's 16%. He's Got a good job coming in situations just like this. Bouncing ball. Laurie off balance throw in time. What a play. Brett Laurie looked like he was in between, barehanding it and using his glove, and then he made the off-balance throw in time to get Nick Punto.
Yeah, not only does Brett Laurie make a heck of a play right here and throwing on the run, but on the back end, David Cooper makes a fine play. And I really like utilizing the glove. I think the transfer a lot of times is much cleaner than the barehanded effort. That is a heck of a play by a very talented young third baseman.
Punto's head first slide not in time, and looked like he might have been safe.
Looks like the Blue Jays caught a break right there.
Big break. Back to the top of the order. Scott Podsednik's gone 0 for 3 tonight.
See Jim Leland with his rant talking about umpires need to be accountable and people need to talk about it.
Leland got tossed in the Red Sox series, arguing a pitch that was called the ball in the dirt. It clearly caught by the catcher, led to a 3-run inning. This is the guy Perez needs right here. Here are the numbers we had mentioned. He has stranded 16 of 19. Done a great job. But lefty on lefty right now. Here's where he needs to leave Sweeney at third. Bouncing ball up the middle. Podsednik can run. No throw. An infield base hit and an RBI for Scott Podsednik. Bounced it over the mound perfectly.
I don't know if Kelly Johnson comes up with this cleanly if he's got a shot on the speedy Scott Podsednik. That's a long way to go. And then you're running away from first base. Can you come up with that throw? He just couldn't make the transfer.
Yeah, Podsednik can still really run.
Yes, he can. Strength of his game, and probably always has been.
And you better not forget about him at first. Daniel Navas 2 for 3 already tonight.
It's a situation in a ball game where with a 4-1 lead the Red Sox have, 2 outs, you take a shot trying to run. It's the top of the order.
Podsednik is 2 for 2 in steal attempts. And you're right, just a good time to gamble. You're at the top of the order anyway.
Yep. That gamble's very minimal. I think Bobby Valentine's having a better time here of late.
Cut on and missed. Coming into this ball game, the Red Sox have won 14 of their last 20 games.
That's always the reason for good times. He had reason for some rough times early on in the season, and looks like the Red Sox are actually having some fun together.
They got out to a slow start. Actually, they got to 4-10 at one point when they lost to the Yankees back on the 21st of April. And since then, it's been a steady climb.
Bobby Valentine seemed to get in the doghouse of Dustin Pedroia and Kevin Youkilis. Pedroia kind of let the skip know that's not the way we do things around here.
Dustin Pedroia is always going to speak his mind, and that happened on Patriots Day when Youkilis came into the office to talk to the skipper about some of the comments he made post-game on Sunday before that Patriots Day early morning game. Nava drives this toward the gap, and that's going to get down and go all the way to the warning track. Rasmus cuts it off. Podsednik is around third. He's going to score, and Daniel Nava delivers his 3rd hit of the night.
Well, that little infield single by Podsednik results in at least 2 runs here in the inning for the Red Sox, and this is just very nice going the other way.
Sednick can really run, and he goes around the bases easily, scoring all the way from first with 2 outs. It's 5-1 Boston. But Sednick has been a good pickup, and Daniel Nava has delivered since his call up from the minors. His average now over 300. But Sednick went to camp as a spring training invitee with the Phillies. And here he is having an impact with the Red Sox. Adrian Gonzalez has a couple of hits and an RBI. Has another hit. Javier Asmus got a good jump. Here's the throw to the plate. Nava is safe, and Gonzalez will go to second on the throw. It's 6-1 Boston.
And again, I turn back to that infield single by Scott Podsednik. It scores the 4th run and leads to 2 more in the inning. Just a ground ball that very close to being the final out of the inning.
Well, that's what happens when you turn the lineup over. Your leadoff guy gets on, then you get down to the meat of the order. This throw is not in time as Nava comes in to score. Gonzalez, his second RBI of the night.
One thing that's certainly true about these Red Sox, when you have Adrian Gonzalez and David Ortiz, left-handed pitching doesn't necessarily have an effect. They swing it awfully well against the lefties.
Gonzalez 268 coming into this game, and there's another drive to right. That'll get over the head of Bautista. Gonzalez comes around third. He's going to score. Ortiz will be stopped, and back to first in time to get Ortiz. So the inning has come to an end. But the Red Sox break loose with 2 outs in the inning. Ortiz is tagged up. They score 4. It's now 7-1 Boston. Batter and struck out 2 through 99 pitches, and looking for some help out of the bullpen. Luis Perez came in and just didn't do anything to stop the bleeding in the 4-run 7th inning. David Ortiz picked up an RBI on a single to right, but here he stumbles around first base, gets too far off Bautista's throw to second. Escobar's return throw to first in time to get Ortiz getting back to the bag, and that ended the inning. But the Red Sox have taken a 7-1 lead. Brett Lawrie takes the first pitch strike. popped out of play. It's 0-2. Red Sox have hit 3 more doubles here tonight. They now have 135. That's the most doubles in the big leagues.
Even though they get older, they just continue to swing the bats very well. Injuries have been an enormous part of their season.
Ball is popped into right. Sweeney will get there, and Laurie's retired. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Bottom of the 7th. Red Sox have a 6-run lead. Fly ball into center. Podsednik broke back. Now he recovers to make the catch. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Clay Buchholz has held the Blue Jays to 1 run on 3 hits. And the Blue Jays had some early opportunities to break through against Buchholz, just couldn't take advantage.
Talked about Buchholz's most recent start, allowing just 2 runs in 7 innings against Tampa Bay. And that's one of the few highlights on his season, but tonight he's looked awfully good.
He came into this game with the highest ERA, the highest opponent's batting average, and he has pitched very effectively. 6 strikeouts to this point. David Cooper drives it to left. Daniel Nara at the wall looking up. Home run, David Cooper. David Cooper making an impression here. Goes the opposite direction. His first home run of the season.
That's a guy making a statement. I want to stay here.
Oh, he is swinging the bat.
And people talking about, well, Cooper doesn't have the kind of power that you want from a corner infielder. But he's hitting home runs going opposite field now.
That's a pretty swing. Ball out over the plate. Didn't try to do too much with it. He has a double and a home run tonight.
He's a short stroker. He doesn't get fooled often. It's a guy you could easily see hitting 300. Will he hit for the power?
Blue Jays have plenty of power. Can certainly improve your on-base percentage. Cooper's batting average up to 375 now. Rajai Davis.
After Cooper's gone double and home run opposite way tonight, I think it's likely he'll start seeing some pitches in. They'll test him and see what he can do in there. He's probably already considered that.
It's cued off the end of the bat. Cooper, the former #1 pick, and we talk about draft choices, obviously with the upcoming draft starting on Monday. Cooper was taken in the first round, 17th overall, the 2008 draft. He's just 25 years old. And he's one of those guys that you watch and you say, okay, well, that's pretty good. And then the more you see him play, the more you like him.
Yeah, you watch him over the course of a spring, and that's really the biggest thing that we've been able to see other than last year joining the club. He's consistently a guy that gets good swings. But now we're starting to see more of a big swing, a swing that gives him a chance to drive the ball.
Won the batting title in the Coast League last year. Hit 364 at Las Vegas. Buchholz thought he'd cut that inside corner. Full count. Two-out walk, second walk for Rajay Davis. Turn the lineup over, and Kelly Johnson will come to the plate. Bobby Valentine on the phone, and that'll get that bullpen up and working. Buckles got off to a tough start to his season. Had 7 straight starts, allowing 4 or more runs. Didn't have a game in which he allowed fewer than 4 runs until May 16th. Lost a 2-1 game at Tampa Bay. There goes Davis. Off the Lamakis. Throw is not in time. Number 9 for Rajay Davis.
Rajay kept trying to time it. He was going to try to take off with an enormous jump. By the time he left, it really didn't look like all that good of a jump. Watch him stumble a little bit. But once he gets it going, he can fly with the best of them.
Head first slide. He got that left hand on the bag before Aviles could put the tag on him. Scoring position now with 2 outs. Ball in the dirt. Davis thought about it, and then Saltamacchia was able to get to his feet.
Were you one of those managers, Buck, that didn't like seeing your players dive into bags?
Oh yeah, it's very difficult, but it's hard to get them to change. They're subject to injury.
Yep.
Hand injuries, thumb injuries, even collarbones, but it's hard to get guys to go head first to switch.
Just a natural instinct.
Scott Atchison starting to loosen up. He's been great of late. Hasn't allowed an earned run. Hasn't allowed a run in 13 straight. Span of 17 2/3 innings. Kelly Johnson goes after that high fastball, and that's the 7th strikeout for Clay Buchholz. Clay Buchholz gets through 7. David Cooper puts on the board his first home run of the season. It's 7-2 Boston. baseball academy. New pitcher for the Blue Jays here in the top of the 8th will be Robert Coelho. Coelho has pitched in the big leagues with the Boston Red Sox back in 2010. He was with Las Vegas prior to this call-up. Made 2 starts in Las Vegas and threw the ball well.
Keep that ERA and that kind of range in Las Vegas and that PCL. You've done a fine job. And you can see left-hand hitters struggle in a big way against this right-hander.
Coelho's got a big arm. Good fastball. He's got a very hard split finger pitch. He is now 27 years old. He's had an interesting background. He was drafted by the Cincinnati Reds in 2004 as a catcher. Played in the minor leagues with Cincinnati as a catcher, then went to the Angels in 2007, and they converted him to a pitcher. We mentioned he appeared in 6 games with the Red Sox in 2010. He was a September call-up.
Fastball in the low 90s, but it looks like a good 4-seam rider.
He was with the Blue Jays in spring training. Appeared in 8 games. It's a total of 8 1/3. Having trouble finding that strike zone. (3-1) to Jared Saltalamacchia. Ball is driven to left. Rajay Davis backs up. One down here in the 8th. You mentioned Coelho made a couple of starts down in Las Vegas. He also worked in the bullpen very effectively, and that's a real strength of that AAA ball club, was the depth of their bullpen. Chad Beck was here during the Texas series, did not pitch, and then when they needed another pitcher, Beck wasn't down the required 10 days, so they opted to bring Coelho up.
I was anxious to see Chad Beck after seeing him last year. Throws hard and really ate up PCL hitters. See that riding 4-seamer when it's up. Hitter's not getting to it, at least yet.
Well, Middlebrooks has gone 0 for 3. Cut fastball is fouled back out of play. Coelho's big. 6'4". He's about 225. Big, strong guy. Kind of guy you like to have come out of that bullpen. I haven't seen that good split yet. Breaking ball is served into right field. Bautista over. Cuts it off, and he'll hold Middlebrook to a single. One out here in the top of the 8th. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Interesting development for the Mets. Brian Sweeney goes after the first pitch and pops it into left. 2 down. We'll be right back at it tomorrow afternoon, 1:07 start. Kyle Drabek will go up against the Boston Red Sox for a second time. Early in the season, he was terrific against Boston. It all starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zone, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time. Now Drabek at 4-5 for the season. We mentioned will be all three of the young starters in this series. Alvarez tonight, Drabek tomorrow, and Drew Hutchison on Sunday. Felix Doubront will go to the mound for the Red Sox. Doubrant's really kind of settled in after a bit of a rocky start as a starter. He's now 5-2 for the Red Sox. So 1-2 on Michael Vilas.
Yeah, you have to believe these Red Sox are going to make life tough in the American League East. As good as their offensive numbers are to this point with all the injuries they've had.
They certainly have the offense, and you would think that sooner or later that they'll get Daisuke Matsuzaka back to find a spot for him in their rotation. Of course, Lester, Doubront, and Josh Beckett.
Yeah, as of right now, second worst in ERA in the American League as a staff, but they seem to be coming along.
All you got to do is think about a way to stay out there. Daniel Bard, also in his first year as a starter, got a big arm as well. I don't think they're going anywhere. They're going to be around this AL East division race. Aviles strikes out for a second time tonight. Coelho has a good first inning. Boston leads 7-2. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Waiting, please enjoy responsibly.
Kelly Johnson's the man on this one as Nick Punto hits a ground ball to second base. Runner going. Do you have any shot on that lead man? Kelly Johnson's got it figured out already. You can see the body already angled toward, flipping toward Escobar, who then easily gets the back end of the double play at first base. It's a smart play because even if you don't get that call at second, you still get the out at first.
Play was right in front of Kelly Johnson as he could see the base runner, and it was a heads-up play and erased that leadoff single by Michael Vilas. Clay Buchholz has put together a good ball game. 4 hits over 7 innings. He's walked a pair and struck out 7. Yunel Escobar had a solo home run off Buchholz in the 3rd. Two, 3, and 4 for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ball on the strike. On the ground. Aviles at short. Plenty of time. First down. First out of the inning in the 8th. Double barrel action for the Red Sox. Their right-hander is Scott Atchison. The left-hander is Andrew Miller. Bobby Valentine, Jerry Royster, the third base coach. This ball club has started to put things together. Jose Bautista has struck out 3 times tonight. Sharply hit through the infield into center. Bautista, 1-out single.
May not have been a strike, but an aggressive swing for Jose, who's so many times taken strikes. Whether they are strikes or not, estimation of the home plate umpires, they have been, but he gets one up and away and drives it on the ground.
The Blue Jays, all 6 of their runs, their last 6 runs have been on solo home runs. 2 solos tonight. And that 4-1 win on Wednesday against the Orioles, they hit 4 solo home runs. Base hit to the left side of the infield. Encarnacion may have broken his back. First and second with 1 out.
Edwin gets one away, not quite as up as what Jose Bautista saw. But when you break a bat, you come up with a hit, it dies a hero, and there are no bats that die better deaths.
So first and second, 1 out by Buchholz again with runners on, but he has answered the challenge all night long. Kobe Erasmus has extended his hit streak to 8 games. He's 1 for 2. He's also hit by a pitch.
Buchholz at times, just in my estimation, loses focus on the hitter, worrying about base runners. 7-2 ball game.
And there's only one person to worry about right now, and that's Kobe Erasmus. Erasmus goes after the first pitch.
I know I wouldn't throw Colby a fastball right about now. He's been raking them pretty hard. Save that fastball until you've got him guessing between something, not a first pitch.
Right off that high fastball. Looked like it might have been a cut fastball. Ball on the strike. Erasmus has 6 home runs. Important trip through the lineup. Chance to close ground on the Red Sox here. Bottom of the 8th inning. Popped up on the infield. Infield fly is called. Middlebrooks makes the catch. 2 outs. Fans, enjoy the 2012 baseball season with At Bat 12 for your iPad, iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android device. Listen to live radio broadcasts and receive batter-by-batter information for every game. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Two outs now. Brett Floyd. He's gone 0 for 3. Blue Jays just haven't been able to come up with a big hit with runners on tonight.
It's one of those times where the home run ball could make this game intriguing.
Jose Bautista got out of no man's land. He expected Buchholz to turn and fire, and he had a chance to move up. Buchholz threw the ball to plate. It was all a moot point because Rory fouled it off. Into right. Sweeney comes in, and that'll do it. Clay Buchholz is through the 8th inning. Has a comfortable lead. Clay Buchholz with the start tonight set the tone for the series, and Bobby Valentine giving him the big attaboy for a good start. Shut down the Blue Jays on just 6 hits, a pair of solo home runs. 9-1-2 for the Red Sox here to start the 9th. Nick Punto, the second baseman. Robert Coelho in his second inning of relief. Line drive, that'll get over the head of Bautista and bounce off the wall. Punto headed for second. Here's the strong throw, right on the money. What a great throw by Jose Bautista. It couldn't have been any better.
For me, best arm in the game. As a right fielder, he keeps the throws down. You don't see the balloon throws, and he can air it with anybody and just plays it perfectly as it comes off the wall. He goes back. He knows the runner's going to go for 2, sets himself up perfectly, and you look at that clothesline.
Beautiful throw. And Punto, why not gamble? You're up 7-2. Put yourself in scoring position, but a great throw by Jose Bautista. His 5th outfield assist of the season. Bautista moving around Rajay Davis over in left. There's that splitter.
Jose Bautista, yeah, I'll get right here, and then just a frozen rope into second base. Nobody does it better. Two.
Well, Scott Podsednik had a big hit in this game tonight in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Bounced the ball over the mound and kept the inning alive. He drove in a run, and that just opened up the floodgates. They would add 3 more hits after that.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest single play of the ball game. Drives in that 4th run in what was a 3-1 ball game and leads to a 4-run inning. And I don't know how you can split it any differently.
He hit it right over the mound. It bounced behind the bag. By the time Kelly Johnson got it, he really didn't have much of a chance to throw Podsednik out. This will be out of play. Hard to believe that Scott Podsednik was with the White Sox back in 2005 and had the walk-off home run against Brad Lidge for the game winner. Game 2 of the World Series.
I was there for that one. The White Sox thoroughly dominated the World Series, and Scott Podsednik was a big part.
He's had a fine career. He's had to battle with injuries the last couple of seasons. As Alan mentioned earlier, he was with the Blue Jays last spring.
Plantar fasciitis got him, and I think otherwise he might have been a member of the ball club.
Full count. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Chase that high fastball. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. What a great accomplishment for Santana. He is truly all the way back. Came back from that very difficult shoulder injury. It took him a long time to get right, but he right now.
I'm guessing Terry Collins, the skipper of the Mets, was challenged tonight. 134 pitches, 77 of which were strikes for Santana. That's getting pretty deep.
With a veteran like that, you leave it all up to Santana.
It's all about the no-hitter at that point.
It's really interesting, as we mentioned earlier, all the great pitchers that have gone through the Mets system and played in the big leagues. Santana becomes the first to throw a no-hitter. It was an 8-0 game, so you're right. The only thing that Collins had to think about was the possibility of that no-hitter.
And do you even go up to your pitcher and say, "You all right to go"? When superstitions prevail, you don't talk to the pitchers with no-hitters.
I think they probably just left it up to him. He must have been in such good shape.
Come talk to me if you don't want to go.
Popped out of play. The Mets had Seaver, Ryan, Kuzman, Gooden, Darling, Leiter, Pedro, and Johan Santana becomes the first to throw a no-hitter. Pretty impressive.
He walked 5 in that game while striking out 8. Yeah, can you imagine any team that had Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, and Dwight Gooden and didn't come up with a no-hitter through the years?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine, especially the fact that Nolan would later throw 7.
Yeah. Of course, Nolan was just a kid at that time, which means he threw even harder than he did later.
You had 3 of those no-hitters, right?
I caught 3, 1 of Nolan's. I caught the record-breaking 5th. And had him 1 out in the 9th inning for what would have been his 6th at the time. It got away. Had Mike Scott 2 outs in the 9th inning, and that one got away.
2-2 upstairs.
Obviously poor calls by the catcher on those nights.
Full count. Daniel Navas had a big night. Yep. 3 for 4, 3 runs scored and driven in a run.
What were your emotions, Buck, when you were in a very close one with Jim Clancy?
perfect game into the ninth. And you talk about a perfect game. Daniel Nalez just picked up his 4th hit. It's a ground rule double. Jim Clancy against the Minnesota Twins in the first game of a doubleheader. Took a perfect game into the ninth inning, got the first out, and then Randy Bush broke his bat, looped it over Damaso Garcia's head, and then the next guy hit into a double play. It's like an hour and 47-minute game. You know, Alan, and you said you had a couple of a loss. You always blame yourself, thinking about what you could have done differently. But to get involved in a game like that's just a great feeling.
You know, I laugh about the Nolan Ryan one, the possible second one, which again would have been his 6th, which would have been, I believe at the time it was a number 4 for me personally. Of course, I was all about hanging on to coattails at the time, but Nolan shook me off a couple of times with Mike Schmidt at the plate. He eventually got the curveball he wanted, and he jammed Schmitty, but it was a little thumber up the middle for a base hit.
Should have stayed with you.
Well, that's the way I tell the story anyway.
We have the microphones.
Yes. He owns the ball club, though.
Adrian Gonzalez, a 3-hit night. How's that one back?
Yeah, those are tough, right? And I don't know if you ever caught a no-hitter in the minor leagues or wherever it happened to be, but nothing more gratifying other than winning in the postseason than helping a pitcher get through and complete a no-hitter.
Yeah, it's very satisfying to be part of that. Terrific accomplishment for a pitcher. And the ability to say, you know what, we got him through 9 innings. One and two, 2 outs.
Correa looks like a guy that not only throws pretty hard with that riding 4-seamer, but maybe struggles at times leaving a number of pitches up. We've seen breaking balls left up.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to really command the bottom part of the strike zone. He just has enough stuff on his pitches that he's able to get away with it. Just foul. Boy, Gonzalez can handle that bat. Foul line to foul line doesn't make any difference.
He can get out there and drive it the other way. I've been stunned that his numbers are not more impressive so far this year.
Well, it's kind of like pitchers saw him last year for his first season in the American League, and now they've made adjustments, and you can bet he's making his adjustments as the season wears on. (7-2) Boston. They have out hit the Blue Jays 15-6. There's a pitch down in the zone, and that'll end the inning. Gonzalez strikes out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Robert Coelho. He gets that fastball down at the knees on the outside corner. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Red Sox with a 5-run lead. will be offered on Friday, June 29th when the Blue Jays entertain the Angels. 7:07 p.m. start. Combo includes one ticket and a $200 outfield level, a Lester's hot dog, nachos, popcorn, and peanuts, an apple, and the soft drink. Tickets start at $39. Call the Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1234 or log on to BlueJays.com. Big pitcher for the Red Sox is Scott Atchison. Clay Buchholz goes 8 innings. Allows just 6 hits and 2 runs. Atchison making his 21st appearance, and he has been real good lately. I mentioned he has had 13 straight scoreless appearances. 2-1 to J. Pierre Ncibio. Popped into right. Ryan Sweeney is there, and JP's retired. Blue Jays won 2 of 3 the first time these two clubs met back in April here at Rogers Center. David Cooper's had a big night. He doubled in the 5th and then homered with 2 outs in the 7th. Mark Wegner down at third said no swing by Cooper. 2 balls and a strike. Cooper drives this one to left, but Nava is back, jumps and makes the catch. That ball carried better than Nava expected. Cooper hit it hard, but the Blue Jays are down to their final out.
3rd time tonight that Cooper goes hard to left center field. And I mean, Cooper, or Nava rather, in left field does get fooled. He doesn't realize that a left-hand hitter is stinging it like that coming his way.
So Rajai Davis will bat with 2 outs. Davis has walked twice tonight. He's also popped out. On the ground, Aviles not in time. It's been an infield hit for Rajai Davis. Mike Aviles did a good job of gloving it, but Rajai Davis has too much speed.
Yeah, you can let any shortstop in the world make that play, and you're just not going to get Rajai going down the line.
Well, that'll turn the lineup over one more time. Kelly Johnson. There goes Davis uncontested, and he will go into second base. Stolen base.
New change in the scoring is going to give some base stealers a golden chance this year to push some numbers upward.
Yep, they have eliminated the defensive indifference, and every time a man advances, he'll be credited with a stolen base in that fashion.
Yeah, when you've got that first baseman playing all the way back, I'm not sure I agree with that ruling, but if you're playing somewhat close, I think you should give the runner a stolen base.
0-2. Johnson stays alive. The Red Sox busted the game wide open in the 7th. They scored 4 runs. Luis Perez came into the inning with 1 out. At the first batter, he faced Nick Punto, but then 4 2-out hits, contributing to that 4-run inning. Mentioned the Red Sox bullpen had a great month of May. They've sorted things out. Bounced foul. The bullpen for the month of May had a 2.37 ERA. That's the best bullpen ERA in a full month since July 2007. Bobby Valentine has seen every aspect of his club's play improve over the course of the last month.
And if you're a manager and you come out of spring training and your team misfires so much like the Red Sox did, do you ask yourself, is there something that we did wrong?
Strike 3 call. Kelly Johnson strikes out. That ends the ball game. Boston wins the game. 7-2, first of 3. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Now stay tuned. Connected coming up. Here's Jamie Thomas and Brad Fay.